All right. Next Patreon request, and this one comes from Dominic Fuentes, who asked me to do another hero-villain mashup. Basically taking Captain America from Marvel, of course, and what would it be like if this villain, Lockup from Batman, from Batman's Rogues Gallery, would be his... what would it be like if it was his enemy? As always, if you guys would like to be part of the next Patreon, of another set of Patreon requests, just hit the link below, head on over to Patreon, hit the third tier, that'll allow you access to do so, to send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But yeah, so yeah, for those who are unaware, any new subscribers out there watching this wondering what hero-villain mashup is, hero-villain mashup is basically where I take a character and basically talk about, not so much as a fight, but more like, what would it be like if this villain was in their Rogues Gallery? And as I said, it's Captain America, and what would it be like if Lockup was this villain? One of his villains. And honestly, at first glance, you would think that Lockup wouldn't be much of a match for Captain America. And in an argument, you would be right. But honestly, Lockup does represent a good Captain America villain. Like, he does make for a good... There is a good case you can make for him to be a good Captain America villain. You see, Lockup represents that over-authoritarianism. Like, he is basically borderline, if not full fascist, in terms of punishment. For those who don't know who Lockup is, Lockup was basically a villain who I believe was created for the 90s cartoon for Batman the Animated Series and got transitioned into the comics later on. But basically, Lockup was a former correctional guard at Arkham Asylum who beat and tortured several inmates at Arkham and made the case that they're not human, they're monsters, and when the courts ruled against him that they had civil rights, he took upon himself to be like almost like the Punisher of Gotham City and capture and torture various people in Arkham. This was also kind of a thing of like, I'm just like you, Batman. These freaks are, just gonna break out and do more damage. But Batman's whole thing is that he has to believe in the law and order of it all. So when you think about it, Lockup really does make for a good Captain America villain, because again, he represents that corruption of law and order, the thing that Steve believes in. Yes, I think Lockup would also be like, you break the law too. Like, how many times have you gone into a place where you were told not to by S.H.I.E.L.D. or, the government, but you did it anyway? I'm no different from you, Captain Rogers. And I think, like, if they exist in the same universe, I really do think Lockup would look at Captain America as like an inspiration. Like, you're the you take no shit. You fight these Nazis, you fight these monsters, and you put them down or lock them up. But what if they get out? Like, I can help with that. I can, give them a taste of their own medicine. And Cap would be like, no, this is a corruption of law. You're literally, doing the thing I'm fighting against. You are. It would also be like kind of like Lockup's whole thing was like, don't you back us? Don't you back the blue? And Captain America's like would be like, I back the red, white, and blue, son. So while Lockup would not be much of a threat to Captain America, he does have some military training, but he fights more like a brawler, and he does have like gadgets and whatnot. It's nothing like Cap hasn't fought before, but again, this isn't like a, full-on fight between the two. Captain America would see Lockup as how like a threat he is of like, and also like, I think it would also test Captain America, because I think it would be like, how many times did I arrest Zemo or Skull or something else, and things just slip through the cracks? Like, I think that would also like test Captain America's mettle. And also, like, yeah, I've killed these people before, but there are other times where I want the system to work, and I want, this to be done right. But how many times have I allowed, like, some villain to just get arrested and then let the UN, like, let it slip through their fingers, So I think that would also be a great, like, moral test for Captain America as well. I think that would be a major bridge for him to cross about himself and the country, and also how the law works. But again, like, I don't think Captain America would, and also, like, I think Lockup would hit him like, your buddy Red Skull, He's a fucking Nazi, don't you remember? So why would you treat him with any respect like he did with other, like he and his people, did with 6 million others? But I also feel like Lockup wouldn't care about. I think he would also Lockup also got to the point where he was attacking innocent people for minor crimes. So yeah, there is that too. I do think, like, the more you think about it, the more Lockup would be a fascinating villain for Captain America to overcome. Like, getting through all of his traps, getting through, like, his Lockup's armor and all that. That could be something else. And Cap could easily get through. But the thing of it is that it would be a moral war between the two of them, where Cap has killed enemies. He has killed some of his enemies, but for the most part, he wants to, like, fight for law and order. But at the same time, Lockup would have that whole thing of, like, how many times did you break the rules to get shit done? And it would also make Steve question himself. Like, it would really make, Steve Rogers question himself in that regard as well. So, the more you think about it, the more fascinating it becomes of having Captain America and having Lockup as one of Cap's villains, because again, it would really make Cap question himself at the end of the day of, like, am I letting Law and Order, am I really fighting for Law and Order if I'm bending it too? And also, like, where does the line draw for me? Like, where does that same line draw for me at the end of the day? That's what I think would be the fascinating part of it. So yeah, I think it would be really cool. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you think it would be like if Lockup was one of Captain America's villains? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'd like to thank Dominique Fuentes for this Patreon request and continued patronage. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.